What was the moment you realized this problem needed solving, and what emotions did it evoke?
That's when I realized that this single beam sensor is not sufficient. It's not doing the job.
What did that experience teach you about the gaps in the current garage door industry system?
The sensor was just a regulatory thing that they have to abide with.
Almost like an afterthought, right?
Exactly.
Whereas the new, if you see it, you know it's there, but you get to uncover all the hay on top of it.
Majid, Yurker, welcome. You guys have built something truly unique here. But before we dive into the technology, I'm curious, what's the personal story that ignited this journey? What was the moment you realized this problem needed solving, and what emotions did it evoke?
Well, first of all, Santiago, thank you for inviting us here. I think it was about 5 years ago when I parked my minivan in the garage and pulled out the whatever grocery shopping that I did, and out of habit left the door open, and as I walked into the house, hit the button, here comes the door, crushing the minivan hatch. That's when I realized that this single beam sensor is not sufficient. It's not doing the job. It's only detecting the tires as the car or the minivan is crossing the door. The idea came that, hey, we need a full curtain, a full beam curtain protecting the entire opening.
Yeah. And clearly, when that situation happened, there might have been a slew of emotions that were going through your mind, through your heart. What were you feeling then?
You know, the damage to the car is one thing, right? Because money can replace. The reality is that closing the door could have happened on an individual, a child, a pet. That's when the issue is magnified much more than just, you know, you could always fix your door, or a car door. But the idea of the door coming down on a child on a bicycle or a tricycle playing in that area, that basically was the key driver into putting a team together, trying to solve this issue and come up with a new product that fully protects the entire opening.
Yurker, you have kids, so you saw that there was a need to support pretty much what was this endeavor. Tell us, why did you get involved with Infinity Shield?
So Majid, he brought this problem to me and said, you have a great idea. I know a lot of people would like this. It can solve a lot of problems, a lot of accidents, a lot of damage to cars. And he asked me, can you help me solve this problem? I was like, I would love to work with you, Majid. It sounds like a super exciting problem, and I think there's a solution. So we set off and worked on this together. And sometime later, we had a prototype that worked really well. And that's when Infinity Shield was born.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, it's strange to say, but I'm so glad that an accident happened.
Right.
To have been able now to create this opportunity for Infinity Shield to exist and now to be available to families throughout the world. One question I have for you, Majid, is what did that experience teach you about the gaps in the current garage door industry system? That is, with the garage door openers that have that single small beam just 6 inches above the ground.
And I think you already know, Santiago, that garage door openers and the manufacturers of the garage door openers, their primary creation is the motor, is the engine.
Yeah.
The sensor was just a regulatory thing that they have to abide with.
Almost like an afterthought, right?
Exactly. It was actually an afterthought, right? It was forced to them But the reality is that that regulation that was added back in 1990s or
93.
1990.
yeah, it was basically a simple way of, okay, a car is pulling in and a tire basically it blocks this sensor. Um, it's basically, to me, it's beyond just a regulation that was added, which was insufficient, inadequate, and needed a true new regulation. And I think in Infinity Shield, our goal is turn Infinity Shield into a new regulation, and I'm confident it will become one.
Yeah, I agree. Yerker, when Majid came to you with this project, what drove you to say, yes, I'm in. I want to be a part of this?
Because I worked with Majid in the past, and I know him very well. When he says there's a really good problem to solve here, and inviting me to join the team, I got really excited. And I knew there was some exciting technology behind it. My background is in signal processing, and knew it would take some clever algorithms and signal processing to be able to make this problem a solution instead of a problem.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. And that was probably going to be my next question. What sort of skill sets did you offer, or I should say were required to offer to the Infinity Shield product?
So I've done everything from satellite communication to underwater sonars.
Wow.
And the signal processing involved in those systems is actually kind of similar to what we have in Infinity Shield. So it's really advanced algorithms to be able to deal with interference from the sunlight. When the sunlight shines on the receiver goes crazy, but we figure out how to tame it to filter out only the beam from the transmitter to the receiver to make it work robustly in bright sunlight.
That's fascinating to be able to have that skill set, to be able to understand and realize the algorithm necessary to do that. I think that takes really brilliant minds. And I'm looking at two brilliant men that just have probably created, if anything, it's probably the most influential product that the industry, the garage door industry, has seen. And that's why I think it's so important to bring out. I want to go back to you real quick, Jerker. You've described could you describe, I should say, a little bit more of the technical challenges? We know that the sunlight was an issue. Sunlight still affects smaller sensors, right? So that still exists. And as of yet, I don't think any of the industry leaders, the garage door manufacturers, have tried to mitigate that. In fact, as an afterthought, there's been these sensor covers that you've probably seen, right? And that's not done by the manufacturers. It's by these, very passionate people that with a 3D printer, they've made these things. So going back to you, Yerker.
Sure.
The technical challenges. Sunlight was one of them. What else?
So the other problem is really kind of related to sunlight, but there's only about 150 milliwatts of power available to the sensor from the wires running from the garage door motor down to the sensors. Our constraint was to make it super easy to install, so we want to use those wires, but there's only so much power available. So we had to make 25 beams work with the same amount of power that the standard sensor works with one beam. And the real challenge was to be able to make it work with very low power and with bright sunlight together. That's where the signal processing came in.
That's crazy. So it's like there was a power issue that we had to take care of, or that you had to take care of, and then there was the power of the sun. That was also another variable. To find that balance, I mean, I can imagine it was quite a challenge. What was the breakthrough moment when it finally came down? I mean, don't give us the secrets, but could we peek a little bit behind the curtain a little bit?
It's actually all disclosed in public domain in our patent, so the secret is out there if someone wants to see it.
Oh, okay. Cool beans.
So, but the secret really is to be able to create the right timing waveforms, share the power between the beams. We call it time division multiplexing, and then have each receiver pull out the signal from the noise. Be able to find the little bit of it's kind of finding a needle in a haystack. Where's the needle? If you see it, you know it's there, but you get to uncover all the hay on top of it, which is the sunlight.
That's fascinating. So have you guys ever heard of phantom operation?
We have not.
Okay,
No.
So basically in the garage door industry, remote transmitters started to become faulty. So in some cases, they would open up garage doors. In other cases, they would close garage doors. Phantom operation was even something within the wall button. Wall buttons would go faulty, or the wirings in the wall buttons, because all that contact, all the initiation to the garage door opener needs just contact of wires, and then it opens it and closes it. I think back to the stories, and especially when I started in this business, phantom operation was something that I saw a lot, aside from the garage door sensors not detecting the vehicle and moving. But I know that phantom operation is one of the things that the industry today has still not been able to rectify.
Yeah, so I think that Infinity Shield will probably help in that case, because if the garage door closes when you don't expect it, there's something in the way that's not picked up by the single beam sensor. If you get the 25 beams, it could catch that, and the garage door will revert back up again.
Yeah, that's my thought, yeah.
Yeah, I think if I understood it correctly, some of the problems in the past, phantom perhaps means that they can't figure out what happened, right?
Exactly.
Now, one of the things that you can correct me here, Kurt, but one of the things is a progress in technology where in older technologies we had a lot of mechanical contact, like relays and mechanical contacts, where over time buildup of oxide and other problems would create partial contact or partial open, partial close. Now, of course, the new technology, we can easily say that semiconductor technologies and technologies implemented in Infinity Shield don't have those type of issues. That's what I can kind of make comment on phantom, because it is true. It is true. Older technologies, relays, mechanical contacts had those type of issues.
Yeah, for sure. So every startup has its setbacks. What were some of the biggest obstacles that you guys have encountered in development? How did you guys overcome them?
So when it comes to by development, I assume you mean like technical challenges, right? Not corporate or other financial challenges.
Sure.
Okay. On the technical challenges, first, I think I have to mention this. The technical challenges were the reason no one else had done this in the past. It was like the very first time we introduced Infinity Shield at an event in Las Vegas, a lot of professional installers came to our booth and were saying, why didn't we have this before? And simply said, it's technical challenges. So like Yerker said, the two primary challenges, the main one was because there is no standard out there. There's no standard that says garage door openers from these different manufacturers work like this with these type of sensors. Yeah. So that was the one. The second one was the primary one is the power. The power, like Yerker said, you have a single beam, power sufficient for a single beam that now has to support the entire opening of the garage door, which is like 25 beams. Sunlight interference, we have spent months and months in my backyard. Yerker knows, and in his directions, we've captured so many waveforms and data that he had to go back and work with our electrical engineer, firmware engineer, change the algorithm, tweak it, make it happen. So it was a long process for that as well. So those are the technical challenges that we've overcome, and I'm proud of my team and Yerker leading them.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I know that your story with the minivan is just one of many. Can you share with us perhaps maybe a story, a recent one or one that happened a long time ago that kind of impelled you to think like, yes, we're on the right track. Infinity Shield is what we need to do. Can you share a story? Maybe something that comes to mind?
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of our customers actually, they really like the parking feature. So a lot of people have small garages, big cars. Garages, they don't get bigger, but cars get bigger.
Yeah.
There's only so much space available in the front, so that people love the Infinity Shield parking feature. So they can know precisely when to stop pulling into the garage to have a perfectly parked car.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. The Park Assist, it's my favorite feature. It truly is. I talk about the Park Assist in a way that it's kind of twofold. Aside from allowing you to know how far you've parked into the garage, it's also a great indicator that if you're tinkering in the garage and you're doing your
Right.
thing, you could actually get a notification that is an alarm of sorts that would let you know that, hey, someone's passing through the beam. You turn around,
That's right.
that could ward off anyone with, scrupulous intentions, or just, someone that's
That's
trying to
right.
be malicious. I highlight that all the time.
Right.
And I wish so many more were in tune to that simple feature, because I think it's a side benefit of what Infinity Shield does. Not only will it protect from your garage door closing on someone or something, but it's also a little bit of protection whenever you're actually in the garage. Was that intentional?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's when we first created the prototype for Infinity Shield, the beeper feature, the alarm feature didn't exist. So it became after we prototyped the initial design, we added that as a feature. Then, based on the feedback from the customers, it turned out that it is a very useful feature. People want it for, like you said, parking assist and or an alarm that tells you someone is behind you. We had a senior, a person that actually wanted it for his older parents, because he said that the father would hang out in the garage, and if somebody was behind him all of a sudden, walked into the garage behind him, that the Infinity Shield alarmed him and he would turn around. But you also ask about our customers and other events that triggered the need for Infinity Shield. One was, if you recall, a customer in Chicago, his dog was crushed and killed by closing door, and he purchased our product and gave us his story. That was another. And then also one of our friends in San Diego, Tesla driver, that the garage door and the car, the damage was in $10,000 range.
The door cost about $10,000 to repair, and the car was probably like $1,000 to $2,000 paint job. But the door was the most expensive part to repair.
Yeah, and I don't think many people think about that whenever they're driving in and out of their garage. There's this perfect storm of sorts, almost like a recipe for disaster, that whenever they're moving their vehicle and their door is not completely open or it's
Right.
starting to close, trust me, it's the worst thing. I see it all the time. Majid, you've said that there is no direct competitors to Infinity Shield, which is
Correct.
completely true. But in a world, the garage door industry, saturated with a lot of, sensor solutions, what gives you the confidence that Infinity Shield can maintain that competitive edge? And this is really something that's just it's gonna blow the doors off everything.
Right. So I'll start by saying a few things, and I'm sure Yerker can add to it, because after all, it's all about technology and your roadmap. Because whatever you introduce today, you have to have technology roadmap. You have to have additional features.
Yeah.
So number one, Yerker will talk about our future of Infinity Shield, which will give us additional technology edge. But as of today, as you said, there is no residential full curtain. There is no residential or commercial curtain that can run off the current power source coming from the garage door opener. the whole idea was price, ease of installation. By ease of installation, we mean the wires that are right there today are all you need. So the power provided by the garage door opener is all we're gonna use. We don't force you into wiring or cabling external power sources. So that's where the edge is today. But we're not sitting silent, and Yerker can add to what we plan to introduce in near future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, go ahead.
No, please.
Okay, yeah. So Infinity Garage is what Majid is alluding to. It's a full garage sensor system with Infinity Shield, Infinity Control, and Infinity Guide. It's a system that can operate the garage door using Wi-Fi through your smartphone. It also has a parking guide that's a visual signal, like a light, as opposed to the beeper in the existing system. And all integrates with Infinity Shield. So Infinity Shield senses if the door is fully closed, make sure that when you leave your garage, nobody's going to break in. It can also sense when it's fully open, ready to back out your car, and the light on the wall will go green. So people back into the car doors all the time. This will prevent any damage of that kind of nature.
That is fascinating. Just listening to that possibility of a product like that being something that is incorporated to already what is the most superior safety sensor system for garage door openers, that excites me. So when Infinity Shield succeeds beyond your wildest dreams, what does that future look like for you? And what impact and legacy do you hope to leave for the world?
So I'll go first, Yerker. It's interesting. Yerker probably doesn't remember this, but when we created this company and this product, my goal from day one was not just because of kind of a slogan, but the reality was what I wanted, and I hoped I'll be there, or our company will be there, that we can sell this product at $99. The reason is, like, my gut feel was that the price allows, the lower price allows it to be in every household in the United States. Obviously, every entrepreneur wants to become rich, wants to make money. That's the bottom line. But I think it's more than that. I think it's really create the product, have the ability to make a difference, and hear stories back from folks like you. Come back and tell us, hey, all these people are contacting you and contacting us, telling us that, hey, this product truly did make a difference. Like my kids were playing in the garage, and this is what prevented it from a damage or an injury to their children.
Sure.
So that's really what I wanted, and I wish that we can get there in future, and that's what we're working toward.
So my vision is for Infinity Shield to be in every garage in North America, maybe even in the world, and it's going to prevent accidents to children, to pets, and also preventing all garage doors and cars from being damaged by a closing garage door. That's my vision.
So I wanted to read a comment from one of our viewers on my SOS channel, and I think it's a really important comment to answer, so I'll just give it to you straight. This is from Keith. His name is Keith. He says, how durable are they? You move things around in the garage, or balls get kicked around in the garage. How do they hold up? With a large target to be hit than normal than Sormer. So he's probably saying they're a larger target to be hit than regular normal small sensors.
Yeah.
How would you answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, it's a very good question. So look at it this way. The older product, or the current single beam sensor can easily get kicked or by a ball or whatever and get out of orientation, causing it not to work. So number one, Infinity Shield is prone to tilting. So it doesn't matter if it tilts by kicking or pushing like that. Also, alignment. There is no alignment issue because it's sitting on the floor and the beams can even tolerate alignment issues. The other thing is this product has been designed by a team of military, industrial, and rugged designers, mechanical, electronics, and everyone else. The housing is made of aluminum. The actual brackets that are used are made of steel. This product has gone through environmental testing, shock, vibration, thermal, and that was part of our design verification process. But in addition, as Yerker knows, in order to make this a UL certified component, it had to be gone through water testing and also drop testing. So this product has gone through multiple level of testing. The one last comment that I have to make in terms of a ball hitting it, the receivers and the transmitters are all recessed, and therefore anything hitting it like a ball, kids playing, no problem.
That's amazing. Yeah, in some of the videos that I have, actually the last two videos that I did on Infinity Shield, several actually, I use a broomstick example. Basically, I take a broomstick as the door starts to close. I just point the broomstick through the Infinity Shield beam, and it picks that up, which is amazing to me. I think if there's anything that's probably the most prone to causing a garage door accident, it's those broomsticks or those small little items that just get into the track assembly. Of course, I know that sometimes they're stored on the side, and I always encourage my customers, that's just, that's not a good idea, but hey, they're going to do what they want. But the fact that I can demonstrate that, the fact
Right.
that exists, I think that speaks huge to the benefits of the Infinity Shield. Majid, Yerker, thank you so much for being here. You guys have created something amazing. I'm just honored to be a part of this and to be able to talk to you both. I think it's really going to help everyone who has pretty much bought Infinity Shield or is thinking about buying it. We hope they do, right?
Right.
Because I think it's going to change a lot. So thank you again.
Thank you for having us.